5 adult cheetahs rise from their rest, awakened by the desperate cries of their family. The Zuri group is a rare sight on this stretch of savannah, and today they are facing a crisis. The lioness carries the cub as though it weighs nothing at all. The day began with 8 family members together, but now 3 are missing. A lioness is not simply another predator. She is a boundary few animals dare to challenge. The cheetahs surround her in a blur of spotted bodies and nervous movement, yet she refuses to release the cub. She wants them to see what she has taken. She wants them to understand the price of approaching. For the cheetahs, losing a cub means losing part of the future of their bloodline, and all it takes is a single mistake, a blindside, or one careless second for that future to disappear. They cannot stop her with strength, so they try another approach. Instead of forcing her back, they attempt to shrink the world around her. A mother measures danger differently from everyone else. The life she wants to protect matters more than the risks surrounding her. 1 second is enough to create an opening, enough to force hesitation. The cheetahs remain caught between 2 choices. They are not close enough to fight directly, yet they are not far enough away to surrender. The lioness moves with the confidence of an animal that understands exactly how much fear she inspires. Every step suggests she knows they are reluctant to commit themselves fully. But the circle begins to change. Grief slowly turns into anger, and fear begins to look more like permission. The cheetahs realize they cannot allow distance to become defeat. One moves ahead of the lioness to slow her progress, while another drifts behind, searching for the blind spot her eyes cannot cover. Every movement forces her attention to split. A threat appears in front while another forms behind. She turns toward one body, only to find another testing her flank. They make every direction feel unsafe and every step feel uncertain. For the first time, she is no longer focused solely on carrying the cub. She is thinking, checking, turning, and spending attention she cannot afford to waste. The lioness understands that the cheetahs cannot attack freely while the cub remains between her jaws, so she keeps it there like a shield. Mother and cub remain separated by only inches. For a brief moment, there is a sense that the cub might survive. Yet mercy has little place in this landscape. The lioness eventually drops the cub, not out of compassion, but out of irritation and dominance. There is nothing left for her to protect, and nothing left for the cheetahs to save. The same jaws that once carried life now carry loss. What remains is no longer about survival. It is about power, and power often demands a final display. The cheetahs wanted movement, because movement creates uncertainty. A lioness is most dangerous when she plants herself firmly and controls the ground around her. By forcing her to travel, they pull her away from certainty and into constant decision-making. Then the missing members of the family reappear. Something feels different. Something feels wrong. Far in the distance there is sudden movement, too fast and too violent to ignore. The cheetahs understand before they fully know what is happening. The lioness remains powerful, remains dominant, but she no longer appears completely untouchable. The image of invincibility has begun to crack. Now the entire family is present. All 8 cheetahs have gathered together. In a world where none of them can challenge a lioness alone, numbers become their greatest weapon. Danger approaches from every angle. They are not attempting to overpower her through raw force. Instead, they are trying to overwhelm her senses and exhaust her ability to respond. Every turn demands energy. Every threat demands attention. Every second requires another decision. Their goal is not to win quickly, but to make resistance increasingly costly. Fatigue begins to reveal weaknesses that strength had previously hidden. This is the moment the cheetahs have been waiting for. Their claws find her skin again and again. They do not need a single decisive strike. They only need relentless pressure. Each wound adds to the next. Every time the lioness rises, she does so a little more slowly. Every time she swings a paw, frustration replaces some of the control she once possessed. The cheetahs have studied her rhythm throughout the confrontation. They recognize the pauses. They recognize the moments when exhaustion forces hesitation. They recognize the smallest openings and immediately move to exploit them. Still, they continue, not through overwhelming force, but through constant demands that never stop. They avoid challenging her where she remains strongest. Instead, they pressure her sides, her back, and the places she cannot easily defend. The lioness breathes heavily, yet refuses to surrender the center of the fight. However, there are simply too many threats for one tired body to answer. Small incursions become larger problems. Minor wounds become growing burdens. The battle shifts from strength to endurance, and endurance is beginning to favor the group rather than the individual. Pain now lives within her body, while humiliation begins to creep into her mind. Injury is difficult, but insult can be even harder to endure. Then another figure appears in the distance. He notices her immediately, not as a hunter observing conflict, but as a companion recognizing struggle. Moments earlier, it had been 8 cheetahs against one exhausted lioness. Now those same 8 cheetahs must consider a second opponent. For the first time in a long while, she no longer stands alone. In a world shaped by violence, survival often depends on finding support when strength begins to fade. Sometimes that support is the closest thing nature offers to mercy. Please help the channel grow by subscribing to the channel, like, and share the video. I will be back with more.